Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining me here today on our Total Wellness Tuesday episode 1915 of the Cabral Concept. For all of today's show notes, our daily PDF download, head on over to stephencabral.com/1915. Today, we are going to be going over a topic that was brought up actually on a podcast interview I did with Dr. DiMartini that we were chatting about. And I was just really impressed that he had the pleasure of being able to meet Dr. Paul Bragg. Dr. Paul Bragg was a naturopath way back in the early to mid 1900s. He lived to 95 or 96 years old and really passed on a lot of wisdom. But the wisdom that the traditional naturopaths passed on had all to do with what was called right living. So I've mentioned this before. It's been many hundreds of podcasts since I spoke about it. I teach it inside of IHP, but I really want to make sure that we take this home because, in 2021, 2025, 2030, a lot of it's going to be about individual nutrients and anti-aging based formulas. And I think those can be great. I really do. I have nothing against them and I use a lot myself. So it's not like I don't believe, but you have to understand that nothing in terms of medical science that we know of, even coming in the remote future, like even the next 20, 30 years predictability, is not going to be able to overcome incorrect living. So what is right living? Well, right living is what the traditional naturopaths in the 1800s, 1900s called the body's ability to maintain homeostasis and also get back to a state of what's called dynamic equilibrium. That means that there are things that we are doing in our everyday life that are either promoting health or moving us away from health. And now, of course, in our Western-based world and society, more than ever, it's actually difficult to live in the right way, to live with right living as part of our philosophy. So I think there's a lot we still can do. It's basically, though, a rediscovery of what we've always known, a rediscovery that living a certain way will produce certain results. Hopefully, if we live in the right way, we get the health that we're looking for. So that's what I want to share with you today. It's going to make, I think, a lot of sense as we move through these 7. Many of them you might have heard before, but Dr. Paul Bragg was one of those people, and I'd love to give credit where credit's due, that kept introducing these concepts to people like Jack LaLanne and many others who, got the benefits and try to teach them to others as well. So just really trying to pay forward what I was taught many, many years ago through Ayurvedic-based teachings, and Ayurvedic teachings taught those of traditional naturopathy and doctors of naturopathy to be able to share with others. So again, it's all about right living, and they called it the 7 doctors. So if you've never heard about the 7 doctors before, well, let me introduce you to the first one, which is called sunshine. Now you might be saying to yourself, okay, well, how is sun a doctor? Well, we want to look at it this way. We can certainly get vitamin D through a nutritional supplement. Way back in the day, it was vitamin D2. Vitamin D2, not so great for the body. It's okay. It will help prevent rickets and, certain things like that, but not the best nutrient. Vitamin D3, a lot more active, a lot more absorbable. But the sun is more than just vitamin D. We begin to get caught up with the belief that the sun, well, it's bad for our skin, we say, and the sun is good for vitamin D. But there are a lot more healing powers of the sun. So again, we always look at sometimes the negative, the blue light. Sure, blue light is bad at night, but the sun's not going to cause that. The sun is going to have that blue light, those nice bright rays in the morning as the sun's rising. That actually tells certain neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine to say, okay, it's time to wake the body up. Cortisol begins to rise, melatonin will begin to fall. These are all great things we want in the body. We want to absorb the sunlight, not just through our eyes, that matters, but also through our skin. So if you can live in a part of the country, or you do live in a part of the country, we can get some sun on your skin during the day. It's a great thing. The sun also helps with detoxification. Believe it or not, sunlight helps with sulfur and phase 2 detoxification of the body. And yes, of course, it produces vitamin D. Getting a sunburn is bad, but getting sun is good, right? Sunburn, bad, sun, good. That is what we want. But for many people like myself, who are living in Boston, Massachusetts, or above, at least in the United States, that kind of Atlanta, Georgia line, then for about 6 months or more of the year, the sun's not powerful enough to allow you to get a tan. And the other thing is, even if you live down in, let's say, Texas, or well, actually, Texas is not a great example for the winter, but let's say you live in Florida and you can get sun all year round. Well, are you maintaining a tan all year round? Because if you're not, well, then you're not getting the benefits of the vitamin D. So most likely you need to supplement a little as well. So I'm not saying there can't be the benefits from nature and a little bit of nutritional supplement as well. You're going to get the benefits of all worlds that way. But sun has the power to begin to help to heal. It also allows us to create a normal diurnal rhythm. We look at the blue light, we look at the rising sun in the morning, and then we look at the setting sun at night. That tells our body, oh, the sun is setting, start to dramatically slow cortisol production, and as the sun sets, begin to produce more melatonin, which gets us ready for bed. So again, right living is all about following and being a part of nature. That is something that we've truly forgotten because of all the beautiful technology that we've already created as well. And I don't have an issue with that. I don't have a problem with having lights at night. I don't have a problem with, being able to have electronics and use my phone and Wi-Fi and all these great things and communicate with you through video and podcasts. But, there is a limit to that. And when we do too much of it, it brings us out of balance. So the first doctor is sun. And all I want you to do is you're going through the top 7 here. And one isn't more important than another. But as you're going through the 7, think about how much am I getting of this one? How in balance or out of balance am I? Because as the traditional naturopaths used to do, they were called the natural hygienists. Like Herbert Shelton and Paul Bragg and others, they would take people and they would actually bring them into nature and they would immerse them in spring waters and a lot of the things that I'm going to teach you right now. Okay. Number 2 is this. It's water. It's mainly hydration. Yes, bathing in nice springs is great, but that's for the nervous system. It calms the nervous system. But drinking good spring water, ideally from a glass bottle or your own filtered water is a must. Okay. Why is it a must? Because if you're drinking tap water, and so first of all, let me say, yes, we should be grateful to have water that is purified and comes right out of the faucet. No doubt about that. I've lived in India. I've lived in Sri Lanka. I've visited many countries where you could not drink the water, or you would most likely end up with a parasite or something equally as bad. So I get it, and I'm grateful for that, okay? Chlorine in the water does help kill a lot of these antigens. However, our tap water, if you read the rain barrel effect, is loaded with pharmaceuticals. Yes, pharmaceuticals for many people. Heavy metals, lead, fluoride. These are things that debatable. Fluoride for your teeth, I would say it's not a healthy nutrient to put in your body. You could debate at least swishing around your mouth. You can't debate swallowing it. When you swallow it, it becomes a poison to your thyroid. It becomes a poison to your digestive flora. So I have many podcasts on that as well, on the thyroid, so you can check that out. So what we want to do is this. We say, okay, we're grateful for running water. Nice to be able to clean our dishes and all of that. But when we drink it, when we bathe in it, when we shower, we really want to filter on those. And for a small yearly investment, honestly, maybe $50 a year, $100 for everything, for your shower, your water filters that are replaced, and your bath for your kids or for yourself as well, maybe $100 a year. And that's like, 30 cents a day, okay? Like I try to rationalize everything and when it's an investment, and I feel it's worth it, right? I feel that's worth it to get fresh water, okay? You don't really want to drink chlorine from the tap water because, again, it starts to break down your gut microbiome. So fresh water, that's what it's all about. Again, we used to be able to go out before, if there was a running spring, we could get fresh spring water. You don't want stagnant water, lots of parasites and bacteria in stagnant water, but you could get fresh spring water. Well, And it does exist in certain places now. Yes, that's true. Findaspring.org is a great place to look. And I'll link all of these up today at stephencabral.com/1915. But that's really important. Okay. So I was going to go over one next. I'm actually going to jump right to diet. Okay. This is really important. I've done so many shows on foundational nutrition, but I want to, because I just talked about Find a Spring. Well, local farmers markets are so important to support your local farmers, but also being able to go direct to the source, low carbon footprint, but also being able to get fresh organic produce at great prices. Okay. So they're selling it direct to you, which means you cut out the middleman, which are the big food stores. So if you can go direct to your local farmers market, and I will link up how to find your local farmers market in your area. So again, just go to stephencabral.com/1915. I'm going to put that down right now and make sure my team does local farmers markets. Okay, great. So we'll do that. And why is this important? Because the majority of your diet, no matter who tries to tell you otherwise, whether you're on a keto or whatever diet you might be following, whatever's the trend of the day, it should always be high in fruits and vegetables. Now, more vegetables than fruit, there's no doubt about that. And if you're looking to lose weight, you might eliminate for a short period of time some fruit, but then you want to add in those low glycemic berries for sure. And that is because a diet high in flavonols, a diet high in brightly colored antioxidant-based fruit and vegetables is the only diet that we know that helps to prevent all of the major causes of mortality and death and cancer. So you can choose your macros however you want for your starches, your proteins, and your fat. Just make sure you load it up with 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables. And again, if you go back to what Ayurveda told us and the traditional naturopaths and the natural hygienists, they were always saying eat lightly. Okay, eat lightly. 3 meals per day is typical. Intermittent fast, 12 hours, maybe 14 hours. It's the same things we're rediscovering. We just try to make things more complicated than they really are. So eat simply. Not everything has to be a gourmet dinner, right? Enjoy your food. Keep it simple. 3, 4, 5 total ingredients at a meal is really all you need. Maybe your protein, maybe some starch like some sweet potatoes or purple potatoes, and you have a couple vegetables, and then you've got a healthy fat like avocado or olive oil. Keep it simple. Keep it really simple. It's easy for digestion, great for your health. Okay. The fourth doctor is exercise and movement. Now, you might say, well, back in the day, hunters and gatherers weren't doing formal workouts. That's absolutely true. For sure, they were not. I've got a great interview coming up in a few weeks with Aaron Alexander. We talk about just natural human movement. So if you don't want to do a formal workout, that's fine. But humans were definitely sprinting, doing long walks, getting in their 10,000 plus steps per day. They were building things. So if you're not building things and doing sprints, well, then you can still do a formal movement and workout. Now, I got this question on a few house calls ago, asking, if you're healthy and you're at a good weight, why do you need to exercise? Well, remember, you're never exercising necessarily for today. You're exercising for tomorrow. So what I mean by that is that your body, as it ages, begins to entropy. It begins to break down. So you start to lose muscle mass. Women lose muscle mass at an average rate of about 0.5 pound per year after the age of 27. They lose 5 pounds per decade of muscle mass. Might seem like no big deal. By the time they get to 50, well, they're down 12 pounds, 13 pounds of muscle. That means their metabolism is going lower and lower and lower. So they can eat what? They can eat less calories and then start to gain more weight. Well, what happens when they get to 60? And again, men are not too far behind at all, just maybe like a decade behind. That's about it. So when you look at that, okay, now we're down 15, 20 pounds, we get down 25 pounds. You wonder why, the bones get weak, the muscle gets weak, the core gets weak. You're not using the muscles that your body was meant to have. Plus, it's not just about keeping your muscle mass and your bones strong. It's about being able to better utilize the food that you're eating. And the signal that you get when you're doing this physical work, that your body's young. It actually is a cellular signal to keep producing mitochondria. So remember, things are a slippery slope. You stop moving, you stop exercising like when you were young, you start to feel old real quick. So exercise is a big one. All right, the next one is sleep. Yes, you probably thought sleep was in there, but sleep is the foundation. So if we're moving our body, we're working during the day, we need time to recover. And that's with sleep. You are not recovering while you're moving, right? We used to learn this back in the day with natural bodybuilding. Your body's not getting bigger. It's not, but you're not putting on muscles. This is just a bodybuilding thing, is unless you're sleeping, unless you're resting. So a lot of bodybuilders would take naps mid-afternoon and they would get a lot of sleep at night, like 8, 9, 10 hours. Well, now we're so stressed. We have so much going on in our lives. We just need a good solid 8 hours for most people. It's 7 to 9 hours. I've got a great podcast to figure out kind of how much sleep you should get. I'll link that up again today at stephencabral.com/1915. But also keep in mind, it's not just saying you need 7 to 9 hours a night, because you might need to be in bed longer if you're not getting your 90 minutes of deep sleep and your 2+ hours of REM sleep. If you don't know what that is, I'll also try to link that up below as well. So sleep, crucial. It is one of the doctors that helps your body repair. And the more sick you are, the more sleep you need. Okay, because you need to recover more, and you need to make sure it's basically, sleep is not just the act of, being unconscious. Sleep is actually then the opposite of not doing things, because when you're up, you're typically moving, you're doing, it's breaking down more. So by staying in bed when you are not well, it allows your body time to recover in that parasympathetic nervous system. All right, we've got two more big ones. And the next one is this: friends and community. People say all the time, well, the Blue Zones diet isn't really about the diet itself. It's about community and all of that. And I would say it is. There's actually 17 things that it's about. Diet's still one of them, because it's difficult to overcome a bad diet, with just good friends and community. But it's such a big part of it. It can't be overlooked. So it's the emotional connection. It's the feeling of belonging. People that are lonely are more likely to be depressed. And we know when you're depressed, you don't live as long a healthy of a life. So really, friends and community. You don't need a lot of friends. That's what studies have shown. You don't need a lot of friends. You need a few friends, family members maybe, that you can trust, that you know that you can call, that you feel a connection with, that you feel some type of love and emotional-based connection. So really, really important to look at that. And that shouldn't be overlooked. It doesn't mean you need to hang out with them all the time. It just means that you know that you can call them if you need to, that you keep in touch through text, and that you get together actually in person. I know it sounds, crazy right now, but to get together in person and share that actual energy-based connection that happens when you're within 3 to 6 feet of another person, believe it or not. Again, this is scientifically based now through organizations like the Heart Math Institute, where there's an actual physical exchange of energy just when you're within 3 feet to maybe 6 feet of another individual, because the energetic field is about 6 feet. And again, it can be measured. So these are really important things to look at. And the last one, the seventh doctor, is belief. It is belief. It is having faith. Faith in oneself, faith in a higher power, faith in the universe, faith that things are going to be okay, that you're going to be okay, that you're going to make it through, that no matter how bad today is, that tomorrow could be a little bit better today. And I can't tell you how much that just belief got me through some of the worst times in my life. I mean, really being up, staying up all night, just with complete insomnia, my body feeling so broken and run down and exhausted with all these flu-like symptoms, and me just saying, I know, today's a bad day. Tonight's a really bad night. Tomorrow will be better. We'll try it again tomorrow. And that was enough sometimes just to allow me to make it through the day and make it through the night. And I do hope that you can understand that sometimes we have some bad days and some bad weeks, but if we keep the faith, if we believe in ourselves or in a higher power, ideally both, that we'll be able to make it through to that next day. And that's just enough, which will get us through that next one. And again, sometimes just making it through the day is enough. So try to be that friend or community member for those people that need you when they don't have enough belief in themselves. Now, when I go through these 7 doctors, sun and water and exercise and diet and sleep and friends and community and belief, sounds a whole lot like what many, many people have said before, right? What Dr. Paul Bragg has talked about, what Ayurveda has spoken about, or maybe you read the Rain Barrel Effect and you read my de-stress protocol, right? Which is diet and exercise and stress reduction and rest and emotional balance, the toxin removal, and the supplements in there, and the scientific, or I should say the success-based mindset. Diet, exercise, stress reduction, rest, toxins, emotional-based balance, rest, science-based supplements, and success mindset. I've added more over the years from these 7 doctors. And all I'm trying to do is build off of the giants that I've learned from, right? These really wonderful, wonderful traditional naturopaths. And I've added the toxin removal, and I've added the stress reduction, and I've added the scientific supplements, not because these 7 aren't great. They are. We're living in a different time. 200 years ago, there wasn't 77,000 man-made chemicals. They were not dealing with all the different plastics and parabens and triclosan and sodium lauryl sulfate and DHT and all of these different things in the environment. They weren't. It's unfortunate, but it is our world. And because of that, and they also weren't dealing with the soil degradation. Even organic farming, they're not preserving the soil. They're not doing regenerative-based farming. And again, because of that, now there's not as much minerals. But we can still work. We can just be the next generation of these 7 doctors, and we can just teach these. And just, again, I don't take any away. I simply add on. The emotional balance is the community. It's the connection. It's overcoming a lot of our trauma from the past. So I do hope that no matter what protocol or program that you're following, no matter how intricate and state-of-the-art it is, never forget that the way that we heal is by incorporating more of the sun, the water, the exercise, the diet, the sleep, the community, and the belief. So always make sure that's a part of your program, no matter how state-of-the-art it is. And of course, if this podcast was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. And of course, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, and maybe you'd even add one more doctor to this list. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. And before you go, I want to make sure that you know about this very special offer right now for Mother's Day. Of course, it doesn't have to be a Mother's Day gift, but one of the most popular offers that we had last year to our community was a big savings of $20 on our beauty bundle. And if you've not heard of our beauty bundle before, it is made up of our advanced collagen support, our full spectrum vitamin C, and our balanced zinc. These are items that are specifically used by the body in order to rejuvenate the skin and strengthen the hair, skin, and nails. So what's actually included with these is the advanced collagen support product, which is as easy as using 1 scoop of that in your daily smoothie or in your coffee, your tea, however you'd like to use it. It's almost flavorless. And it contains 3 patent ingredients that have been scientifically proven to improve your muscles, your joints, your skin, your nails, anything that uses collagen. As we age, we start to make less of it. So it's what supplements the body in order to strengthen all of those hair, skin, and nails on the body. Vitamin C is close to 1 gram of vitamin C per day in just 2 capsules. You can take 1 at breakfast and 1 at lunch, and it comes from both whole food, Ayurvedic-based foods, as well as functional medicine-based vitamin C. And that's close to 1 gram a day. So really great product. Love that product. And then balanced zinc, which balanced zinc is the perfect ratio of zinc to copper, and both of those are needed by the hair, skin, and nails. Not just zinc, but actually copper as well. So by keeping those in the proper ratio, we always make sure the body stays in more of an anabolic and a rejuvenating based state. So you get all 3 of these products, believe it or not, for just $79, which is $20 off the normal everyday price of $99. So in my opinion, definitely worth it for the typical $3 a day that it usually is, but now you're getting another $20 off per month. Really great supplement-based protocol to improve the overall hair, skin, nails, and begin to rejuvenate the body. So for this offer, head on over to equi.life while supplies last. Save $20 today. Take care.